right, here we go, guys. Chris Leonard Racing official site is up. We have all our information linked to our Instagram and our YouTube on this site. We'll also have our own store on here. The store is going to show our racks, our steering shafts, and all our merch all in one place. So go check out chrisleonardracing.com. Okay, so today I want to start trying to wrap up all the small things on the Fusion. The motor is in. We need to get the radiator in. We went with the Mustang one because the Fusion one just wasn't going to work good. So to get it tucked in nice, I got to trim the bottom of this header panel here and take some of this stuff off so I can not cut through it. And once I get that trimmed in, we'll set the radiator in, and hopefully it'll be easy to make some brackets or use the factory brackets. And then we also need to use the harness off of this because it has all like the AC connectors and things like that. So I'm gonna just use that whole Fusion harness, and that way it should mate up good.
Alright, so here I cut the whole radiator support off the car because it actually got into the way too much, so we had to remove that whole top section. Now with that radiator in, I'm able to get all the coolant lines in, and then we're also able to fit all the AC lines in since this car is actually going to have factory AC.
Alright, it's a big day. We got just about every part for the Fusion. Our drive shaft came in. It looks awesome from Powertrain Industries. This was a super good deal. It looks really good quality, so I'm excited to put this in. And made in America, buddy. And we got our fuel suspension. So I'm gonna open this up real quick and take a look. Okay, so got our tools. Pretty cool. We got sway bar links with it. I didn't expect that, so hopefully we can use these, or we can utilize the mounts on the Wisefab arms. But I did have them loose install these guys instead of setting them, because it comes with a 12K, which isn't bad, but I plan to run a 14K on the front just to stiffen it up because we run 18 on the race car. So everything's here. Of course, it's gonna look great. Just a simple 441 setup on this. It'll do more than we need. And we have to change this top hat anyway for the Wisefab. High flow precision damping. Sick. So, looking at this kit online, I figured this would have been a full-size spring. So, this is news to me with the smaller adapter and stuff, which is nice because you can run any spring on this, like 2.5-inch spring. I just thought I'd be able to cut my stock spring and use the adjuster, but I guess not. So we might run this. I don't know. I think this is a good spring for it anyway. It's a 12K, so it's gonna be nice and stiff for it because it's not gonna make a lot of power. So we'll probably run these and set the height. All right, I'm finally back working on the Fusion. It's been so long that there's cobwebs on the car. Nothing's been touched here. It's been like 2 months, but finally I got some time to work on it. So I started hooking all this harnessing up. We got to get back to it. The harness has a lot of these like plastic things to contour it to the car. Well, it doesn't work anymore. So we're gonna cut all this off. This has to run through. This goes to like the center console here. Just try to tuck everything where I can and plug it all in, and want to try to get this thing started this weekend. So if I can get it running, then we can make sure everything's tied up super nicely once we put all the interior back in. Okay, this driver's side was miserable. The BCM on the Fusion goes on this side for some reason, and with the clutch pedals and everything, it becomes a mess. So I found a spot to get the BCM in there. You can still kind of get to the fuses and stuff if you try hard enough. And if I zip tie it all up, it will avoid the clutch pedal. But it took me probably 3 hours to get it in there and plug it all in. So that was really crappy. But the whole inside of the car is plugged in, besides like the center console and the seats. So I gotta just make sure all the grounds are hooked up and get a battery in this thing so we can try to crank it. All right, here's the moment of truth. I already hooked the battery up. I'm pretty sure everything's hooked up. I can already tell the car is mad because I don't have the automatic shifter in, and it told me that the transmission's not in park. But let's see what happens. Radio works still, that's good. It doesn't shut off though. Huh. Alright, steering assist, yep. Oh, we got our coolant over temp, that's not good. Low fuel level. I think there's enough in there. No key. I have the key in it. Yep, we got no parking brake. Huh. Yep, my door is open. I agree. Yes. Hood is open. Yep, trunk is also open. Stop. Alright, everything's pissed. I don't hear any fuel. Let's see if it cranks. Still hear the relay. No cranking. That's lame. Well, I can try to jump everything and see if it starts. Okay, well, the fuel pump's turning on if I turn the key on after a while, or I put the key in. So, let's see if it runs if I bypass the starter. Fans came on, so that's weird. It kind of started. I smell fuel. I think it's gonna start. Alright, I'm killing the battery, but the fact that it's chugging tells me that it wants to start. So I'm gonna pull this off and see if I can't poke the throttle body and make it work. If it starts, that means I'm one wire away from it, like, starting in the car. I'm not sure why it's doing this. It like kind of starts, so that means it's getting fuel. So I think the fuel pump's coming on. All right, battery charger's ripping. See what happens. All right, well, no fuel then. All right, definitely didn't get as far as I wanted to today, but I finally got in touch with Gem Sport. It's a Sunday, so it's been a little bit tough, but he was able to take some time out of his Sunday to help me get the car at least starting from the key, and we have a plan forward with the fuel pump. So we basically run a control pack computer in this, so unfortunately it's not going to control the starter, and it's not going to control the fuel pump. So we're going to have to run a return system on it. And I just moved some wires from the ECU, and she turns over. So it's not running for some reason. I think it's because I had to take the crank sensor off. There's a special tool for it. So I have that coming tomorrow so I can line it up and make sure that it's perfect. And she should run. Let's hope. All right, you guys missed it. The car started with the key. I think the fuel line was a little bit pinched. I want to see if I can fix it, but I might have to just run a new fuel line, unfortunately. But I gotta crawl in through the back door because the car is on the lift now. I massaged that fuel line a little bit, and I relearned the crank sensor. So let's turn this on. See if we get RPM. Display mode. There we go, RPM. Oh, perfect. Where's my gauges? Oh, I'm so rock solid right now. And we got a tach! We have a tach! Oh, I'm stoked. This is sick. I'm so pumped. There's so many fumes in the damn cab right now, but I'm so pumped. The turbo is actually just dumping right into the climate control, so it's really actually perfect if you're trying to kill yourself. Probably can't say that on YouTube, so yeah, super stoked. Finally, the car starts. It's you gotta have the stupid special tools for the crank, and fires right up. It's crazy. Love it. Okay, I'm working on doing the drive shaft on the car. I threw it in real quick the other day to make sure it fit. Well, it fit lengthwise, but it had a little bit too much girth. So I ended up breaking the fiberglass off, cutting it on this side because I didn't feel like taking the tank off. I heated the tank up. So right now I'm pushing the very edge up with the hammer in the transmission jack just to clearance it because it just barely touched. So hopefully after this we will have enough room in the center where it's not going to touch. We should have a good amount of clearance. Once I drop this tank down to do the return fuel system, I will clean this up and cut it the rest of the way out. There's just no room right now. And hopefully I can get this drive shaft bolted in at least enough to do a burnout. So that's the goal today, at least. All right, we got the Powertrain Industries custom drive shaft in. It's not rubbing anymore, so that's awesome. I was able to clearance it just enough so it fits, and it looks great. So hopefully we don't have any vibration, and I think we'll be fine because it looks like a good quality piece. So tons and tons of room. Mint. Okay, so we're gonna take the lines from the race car because we already converted this to have no brake booster and a single rear line. So basically we convert it to a 1/2 inch fitting, standard fitting, step it down to a regular 3/8 fitting, and we'll shove it in. But we're getting rid of this setup on the car because we're doing a big brake setup, and so we're gonna rip this off, use it on that one. All right, quick little update on the car. So I actually was able to reuse the front brake hoses. They are long enough to fit with the angle kit, so that's super cool. I did have to trim the little notch on this guy, but that does save us some money because we don't need all the fancy adapters and stuff. And then on this side, I was lucky because I pinched the brake hose. I got the right fitting on the brake hose that I used, because there's like a coarse thread and a fine thread on these cars. So I was able to use that, no problem. Pretty cool. Then when we go to the back, the Mustang has a coarse thread input on here, so that's kind of lame. So I had to cut the fitting off of this one. I'll just have to re-flare it. So not a big deal. It's just not as easy as bolting it in, but easy enough, and we'll keep going. Finally ready for brake fluid. About all day to do all the brake lines and everything on it. But we got our brake set up there. We come in here, we got a Ford Racing adjuster in there, if you can see it. Our sick Wisefab handbrake is in there. So everything's plumbed up. It's gonna be a inline handbrake setup. Alex is stoked to come out help. It's like 30 degrees outside, so let's hope we can get these brakes bled so we can do a burnout here soon, hopefully. All right, that's super straightforward. It has brakes. At least Alex tells me it has brakes, so it probably has brakes. And the clutch works, so all factory stuff. Makes life easy. Okay, so I was lucky enough that LMR had my MT82 fluid in stock. It takes a special Ford fluid with an additive. So they sell a kit, and they were able to get it to me right away. And all I gotta do is figure out how to get this in that hole. It's real tight. Well, I got this really long tube in here going all the way up there with a bottle, and I squeezed most of it out, and then I poked a hole in it with a knife. It's working all right. The MT82 additive. I got it all over me though. That shit's nasty. It's like chalk, but with oil in it. It's pretty gross. Try not to get it on you. So of course we're putting our super goopy GP1 driven racing oil in the diff. I'm making a mess. It's taking forever because it's super goopy and it's cold. It's like 35 degrees out all day here, so super cold. We got most of one bottle down. I've been poking a hole and using an air gun to blow it through. See the hole there? Still taking forever, so we're getting there. All right, we got the 235s in the front. The car looks way more reasonable now. It's not rubbing yet. We'll see if it settles on there. But we also don't have the Wisefab on it yet, so we'll see how wide it actually is, but it's actually reasonable with a normal tire. So next up, we get to use one of my favorite tools, which is my airlift pump for the coolant system. Gotta put a little bit of water in it before we start going. So let's do that. We got our intercooler all hooked up. I gotta just tighten up our throttle body, and I think my turbo pipe is loose too, so we'll tighten those up, put coolant in it, and she's ready to fire up. All right, I had to do a couple different renditions. The little cone worked the best. We're pulling vacuum. Hopefully she's staying. It's taking a little bit to get the final little bit, but she's pulling pretty good now. All right, so we gotta take care of the biscuit because he's super scared of cars, and we're about to do a burnout. And we locked him out of the house, so he has to be at least outside to listen to it. So I've got my super ghetto shield since I don't have an exhaust yet. Changed all the fluids. It's got coolant, oil, transmission fluid, and diff fluid. I haven't tried the rear end yet, but it's getting late. We're running out of time. And it's got a little bit of fuel in it. So it should do a burnout. Can't get out. Oh. Help. Help. Oh shit, I can open the front door. We slid off the lift a lot. It did a burnout! Not very smoky, but did a burnout. Hell yeah. Sick. I'm so amped. First try. Did a burnout, I think. Get a review video, but there is rubber on the ground. The tires didn't pop, but I was in first gear. Definitely rubber on the ground. So it did at least a one-legger, which it's a welded diff, so that means it did at least a two-legger, hopefully, or else I really royally messed something up, but yeah, there's some rubber under there. So, quick little burnout. Only has half the sensors in it that it really needs, so it runs kind of crappy, but it's a rear-wheel drive Fusion, boys. It does burnouts. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. It's pretty sick that the car did a burnout, and it was first try too. It just took us quite a while to get the thing started. But we're going pretty hard on the car, so hopefully next time we'll actually be able to drive it, and we're posting a video every other Thursday. So make sure you comment, like, subscribe, hit the little bell so it tells you when a new one gets made, and we'll see you later.